Now, Cuban's consulate office is located right in town on North Miami Avenue. But this building doesn't hold the sort of reputation you would expect from a place where consul's duties are carried out. This building was known as Villa Paula, and it is one of the most haunted places in Miami. All thanks to the ghost that resides there, known as the one-legged Cuban woman. Well, the story of Villa Paula goes back to the 1920s, when the Cuban government opened a consulate in modern-day Little Haiti. It was built entirely from materials imported from Cuba. In 1926, Cuban consul Domingo Miller moved in with his wife, Paula, a beautiful young woman from Havana. Now, the cause around her death is still a mystery, but it might be linked to a complication from a leg amputation. It is rumored that she is buried in the backyard. Shortly after her death, the consulate closed under unknown circumstances. Now, over the decades, the building has been bought and sold a number of times, having to be renovated multiple times throughout. Now, on one such occasion, a man named Cliff Enzer, who had purchased the home back in 1974, had supposedly invited psychics to the home, one of who had supposedly pointed to 5 different ghosts in the building, one belonging to a maid searching for her baby. In that same room, a friend of Garcia, a fashion designer who rented out the house for a couple of months, said that as soon as she entered the room, her friend began to cry, saying that they used to beat the maid in here. Cliff Enzer, whose experiences were the first to be publicized, remains absolute to this day. Quote, "The house is definitely haunted. Emma, the medium, used to hold seances in there every 2 weeks. This woman couldn't play the piano at all, but one day she channeled a spirit and began to play like a pro." Enzer and others recorded the feat on 3 separate tape recorders, which I could sadly not find. When they played back the tapes later, all 3 were blank. During another seance, she channeled a stern spirit that admonished, "I don't like cats in my house." A University of Miami professor brought a self-proclaimed Satanist to the house once and pushed her into the room. Enzer recalls keenly during the call. She immediately began to choke as if she was being strangled. Now, we all know how these things go. Somebody dies and the place closes and rumors start. Neighbors were spooked by the stories and would even go out of their way to avoid walking by the house. Now, because of these rumors and the people actively avoiding the home, it made it nearly impossible for the home to be sold. But eventually, it was sold at an auction. But the buyer backed out after hearing the ghost stories surrounding the home. Finally, in 2003, a man named Martin Siskind bought Villa Paula and had it renovated. The owners back in 2015 tried restoring it and exhibiting expensive works of art. Now later on, the owners in 2015 tried restoring it and exhibiting expensive works of art by the Cuban artists. Even weirder occurrences have been reported by almost everyone who has stepped inside the home. The owners say that twice a year, flowers are mysteriously placed on a grave in the back. Now, George states that there was no foul play in Paula's death and that she died young and mysteriously. These unexplained things happened in the house, and the idea has always been that it's her ghost. Now, according to the Biscayne Times story, back in 2008, a black-haired woman would roam the halls in a long dress with only 1 foot visible. The smell of brewing coffee and roses would be present for no apparent reason. Sometimes piano music would play, and the sound of high heels clacking on the back porch would be heard. Dishes and chandeliers would fall, and the gate would occasionally slam shut, killing 3 cats in total up until 2015. One owner even reported a window pane falling into the spot where he had been sitting just moments before. October 2019 revealed that Paula Millard was not in fact buried in the backyard, but rather in Woodland Cemetery. Many still believe that she was responsible for the haunting in the home. Now, this information does make me think, like in some accounts about flowers being left in the backyard grave, which doesn't really corroborate that she was not in fact buried in the backyard, but you never know. It was the grave of one of those cats that she killed, or maybe she just wanted to keep her memory alive, so she played into the stories surrounding her haunting. And then again, maybe it's just some local legend brought about by a mysterious death. Anyway, this is the end of the video. If you happen to come across any information like recordings or any death certificates, please feel free to share them with me or comment down below so I can talk to you personally and get the information. If you want the articles to which check out my sources and want to check them out for yourself, just check the description down below. It also has some links to my Instagram too, so if you want to check that out, feel free to do so. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.